Okay. Page 5. All right. So, well, of course, Ian stole most of the thunder earlier on, but just to recap. Okay. What are we trying to do here? Live production, entirely software-based, end-to-end IP. Sounds easy. But what we want to do here is to be able to dynamically move these live media processing stages between the cloud and the edge at the event. We want to do this in a way that the operators don't even notice. And we want to therefore be able to deploy the software to the best location, making the most efficient use of resources in a bandwidth-constrained location. So we haven't got 10 gigabit, we've maybe only got 100 megabits. Can we still make this thing work? So we've spent a year instantiating this edge cloud. We've done the underpinnings. What do we need to do next, Ian?
That's the big question, John. That's the big question. What do we want to do next? Because as ever at IBC, you've seen that polished demo and it looks like it's ready to go. But the reality is there's a whole bunch of stuff that needs to go on underneath it. So we've built a lab version of this. Actually, we want to kind of put it out there, deploy it alongside traditional workflows to really understand how it can benefit us. We want to work with more vendors. We're looking for, particularly, I think, for vendors who are looking at containerized workflows, Kubernetes type workflows, rather than sort of, so some of the kind of future-based application type stuff. And we want to have sort of really deployed on multiple types of hyperscaler. We don't want to be locked into single vendor solutions, either in our infrastructure or our vendor chain. And then the big one is we really want to kind of understand the sustainability and operational benefits. Quite often we're guilty of standing up on stage and going, hey, this is more sustainable, but how do we know that? How do we prove that? So how do we measure it? How do we move on through that?
So sustainability. We're moving quite a lot of this stuff from physical hardware in the truck to compute. Well, often that's actually less efficient in terms of energy. So let's prove it. Let's run the maths. Let's actually demonstrate that we are saving energy here. We need to sort out orchestration because we've got a lot of software modules here that we want to load and unload on a dynamic basis, on an event basis. So we need to sort out the orchestration to enable that to work without too much manual intervention. There's deployment and the containerization, but actually into real-world scenarios. We've kind of done it in the lab. We've done it in a constrained environment here. But we need to take this thing out actually into a field and do some events and prove this stuff actually works. There's also this thing called observability. Now, I'm a broadcast engineer, and we encountered this word observability, didn't we? And we were like, what's that? Is it monitoring? Well, apparently from the world of software, I mean, half of you guys know software, this is about being able to monitor a software process from its outputs and to gain an understanding of what's going on inside the software process. So we need observability to understand how it's all working. We've got NDI already in terms of transport, but we want to include 2110 and audio and anything else that's relevant. And yes, business cases, license options, it needs to be agile, it needs to be flexible, it needs to be open and not single vendor lock-in, right?
So who we got involved? Well, hopefully some of the returning champions from last year, certainly BT Media and Broadcast R&D, TV2, I know Sky, we're hoping DAZN will come on board and a lot of that. And of course, everyone's welcome to play in this space. This is the new world. Really interested if you want to just know more. I would particularly welcome sort of young, diverse engineers. Let's have more young people who need to know this world of the future coming through rather than just kind of old middle-aged white guys like me trying to make this stuff work. Really love to see some of that. And thank you. I just do it for the clap. Sorry, I put myself off there. I just realised what I said. Anyway, our team's interested in deploying sort of this dynamic media facility workflows. And that's really important to us. The work at the EBU, if you haven't read the white paper, go and read it. It'll tell you where we're going with this stuff. We want to kind of make sure that we're following that trend, making sure that we're not designing multiple different solutions for multiple different applications. We want one kind of coherent workflow that we want to get through that. So that's mostly what we want to do. Yeah, and you know this stuff. That's the kind of edge summary. But ultimately, Flexibility, sustainability, and interoperability. That's the kind of three buzzwords for me. Let's build a flexible infrastructure that is sustainable and interoperable across multiple applications and include new workflows in that as well. How long have I got, Mookie? Can I do the demo again?
You've got 9 seconds.
I've got 9 seconds. Do you want to say anything in 9 seconds?
Call to action.
Yeah.
If you want to come and play, we're on table 5 over there.
Thanks, guys.